cubes. So that's what we're going to apply there. So sum of difference of cubes, we need the first term. Let me write it here. First term, we'll find the cube root. The cube root of 64p cubed will be, how much is it? 4, eh? 64. Yes, 4. And then p cubed will be p. So first term is that. And then second term, the cube root of 1 over 27 will be 1 over 3. So we're going to deal with those two. So how do we do it? We have a smaller bracket and a bigger bracket. Smaller bracket will be first term minus second term, which is 4p minus 1 over 3. And then the second, in this bracket here, we take the first term and then we square it. If I square this, I'm going to have 16p squared. Do you agree? 4 squared is 16, p squared is p squared. So here I'm going to have 16p squared. So the first term, you square the first term, and here you square the second term. So if I square the second term, I'm going to be left with 1 over 9. And the middle term, you multiply the first term by the second term. So what is 4p multiplied by 1 over 3? It's going to be 4 over 3p, or 4p over 3. Anyhow, you want to write it. So 4 over 3p, and the signs are plus plus. Okay, so it's just straightforward. If you can formulate the first bracket, you use the first bracket to formulate the second bracket. Now let's look at this one. Okay, this one, you have to group. You have to put the terms together. So let's check. What are we going to do there first? Okay, firstly, I would put this together and put that together. Let's see how much we get. So 24 ky3 minus that ky. And plus here I have a negative 24y plus, and so I just group them as I see them. First two terms in one bracket, 1, 2. And take out a common factor. What is a common factor? Here there's 6. 24 goes into 6 how many times? 4 times. And then ky. So I'm going to take 6 ky, and then what am I left with? 4 k went out, I'm left with y squared minus 1. Okay, let's see. Plus, okay, take out a common factor here. If I take out a common factor, I'm going to take out a minus. If I take out a minus, let me change it here. If I take out a minus, I'm going to take out a, see, oh, yes, take out 24 as a common factor, negative 24y. If I take out negative 24y here, I'm left with 1. And then minus here 4y squared. Okay, now what do we notice here? We notice that these two signs are the same. These two brackets are similar, but they differ in sign. So what are we going to do? We're going to introduce what we call the sign change. Sign change says change the sign in the middle, change this sign. If it's a negative, make it a positive. If it's a positive, make it a negative. And then swap these two around. Yeah. Now, 6ky will be 4y squared minus 1. So the negative becomes a positive, and then this becomes 4y squared minus 1. Can you see these two brackets are the same? So what do? We take out a common bracket. Take out a common bracket, which is what? Just 4y squared minus 1, then group the other two brackets together, which is 6k y plus 24y. Now, this is worth 2 marks so far. In each bracket, I can still factorize. So remember, we need to factorize completely. So in the first bracket, I see difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to do that one, which will be 2y plus 1 and 2y minus 1. In this bracket, I see a common factor, 6 and y. So I'm going to put it here in front. 6 and y. If I take out 6 here, what am I left with? K, 6 and y. And then here, what am I left with? The y is out, then I'm left with 4. Okay, now this should be fully factorized now. Okay, moving along. Question 4. Question 4, what are we going to do there? Solve for x. So solve for x. Remember, if we have exponential equations, the basis have to be the same. The basis must be the same. So change this 729 to a prime base. Press it on the calculator. 729. That gives me. So I'm going to write this one down. 3x plus 3 equals 36. And now, remember, there's a golden rule that says a negative can be written like this. So if I have this fraction, I can write it as a negative exponent like that. So meaning I can have 3 minus 1, 3x plus 3 equals to 36. Okay, now before I do anything, I need to deal with the bracket. So I'm going to multiply everything there with the bracket. Yeah. Okay, so what is negative 1 multiplied by 3x? What is negative 1 multiplied by 3x? That will be negative 3x. Negative 3x. So negative 3x, negative and a negative becomes a negative. And that side we have a negative 3 to the power of 6. So in this, and at this point now, all the bases are the same. And then if the bases are the same, drop down the bases and equate the exponents. So in this case, what am I left with here? Negative 3x, negative 3, and then I have a 6, that's right. Then from here, it's normal basic solve for x. Take this one, a negative, it becomes a positive, which is 9, divide both sides by 3, divide by negative 3, then x is negative 3. Yeah. Nice question, nice question. So here, the trick is for you to know how to change this to a negative exponent. Okay, let's look at this question. Solve for x and write the answer in the interval notation. Interval notation. Okay. It is here. Okay, so here, how would you solve for x? The first thing to do is to multiply to get rid of the fraction, multiply everything by negative 3. So let me use it. So multiply by negative 3, multiply by negative 3, multiply by negative 3. Negative 3 multiplied, not negative 3, multiplied by 3. 3 multiplied by negative 4 is negative 12. Then that numerator cancels with denominator. I'm left with minus that. And the 3 multiplied by 3 becomes what? 3. And now what are we going to do? Transpose the 1 to both sides. So the 1 is positive, it's going to be negative, negative. So that I have negative 13 there. And here I'm left with negative x only because the 1 went over. 3 minus 1 is how much? 2. Now, what do we do now? Divide both sides by negative x. Divide both sides by negative x. Remember, when we divide by negative x, it's going to affect the inequality signs. So divide everywhere by negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. So I'm going to have 13. X is less than 13 now. And then x is greater than negative 2. So if I were to write this in a proper way, now this one comes this side. Now that one comes that side. No, I'm missing the sign. And this one like that. See, same thing. I'm just writing. This is not a more proper way. We always start with the smaller one and then we write the bigger one. So that's what I'm doing there with the correct sign. Then interval notation will be negative 2 and 13 included. So curved bracket and included bracket. Okay, nice. Moving along, moving along. We're down to, okay, there's another question here. Let's look at the question. Okay. Okay, let's go through the question. It says tickets for a school concert are sold at 6 rand for children. Okay, let's underline this one. And 10 rand for adults. If altogether 150 children and adults attend the concert. So in total, the number of children and adults is 150. They attend the concert and they pay 1,100 entrance fee. Determine how many children attend the concert. Okay, so we're gonna assign variables firstly. Let's say children is X and then adults is Y. Okay, so the first equation that I'll set up is how many X and Y equals to 150. So they said the number of children and adults put together is equals to 150. And then the children pay 6 rand per child. So each one pays that. So 6 times X. 6 times X meaning one child pays that, plus adults pay 10 rand per adult. And the total amount they made from this is 1,100. So that is simultaneous equation. You can see from there, and then you need to just solve how many children have attended the concert. So the main ways to do it, you can do substitution or elimination. I always recommend substitution method, but I'm gonna do elimination method to save time, because in grade 11, you're gonna have to get familiar with using substitution method. So substitution method would make one of this subject of the formula substitute in the other equation to solve. Okay, I think rather let's do that one so that you get it. So I have equation 1, I have equation 2. So let me make x subject of the formula. So I have 150, move the y to that side, and then make it equation 3. And then you're gonna substitute this in the place of equation 2. Wherever I see x, I'm gonna put 150 minus y. So x equals 150 minus y plus 10y equals to 1,100 like that. Then multiply all this 6 times 150. It's 900 minus 6y plus 10y equals to 1, so like that. These two minus 6y plus 10y are like terms giving us 4y. Take that to the other side. 1,100 minus 900 gives you 200. Divide 200 by 4, and y equals to 50. So this is adults. From here, you can already predict how much the children will be. Children will be minus the balance when you minus 150 and 50. So I can go here, substitute the value of y, which is 50, to calculate x. So x will be 150 minus 50, which is 100. So there were 100 children in the concert. 100 children. Okay, nice, beautiful question. Let's go to the other question here. Consider the pattern, number patterns. So consider the following pattern, 3, 5, that. Let's write it down here. -3, 1, 5, 9. From 1 to 5, they added 4. From 5 to 9, they added 4. Meaning here, from -3 to 1 is also 4. So we are dealing with a linear pattern because the first difference is constant. Constant. Okay, now the first question says determine the rule. The rule is given by dn plus c, where d is the constant difference and c is the difference between term 1 and the difference. So Tn will be 4n. What is term 1? Term 1 is -3 minus 4. So -7, like that. That is your answer. Yeah, because a positive and a negative, here you're going to get a -7. Positive and a negative will give us a negative. Determine term number 38. So term number 38 will be, in the place of n, I substitute 38. It's 145. 145. Yes. Okay, straightforward, nothing hectic, nothing much there. Okay, now let's do the last question.